This week's episode of The Graveyard Shift is brought to you by Kat and John G. Kat and John, thank you so much for your generous donation. It's because of you the show is even possible, and we cannot thank you enough for that. If you'd like to help out the show, we'll tell you how at the end of the episode. And now, let's begin. My name is Sheldon, and this is The Graveyard Shift, horror with Sheldon and Mike. Welcome to episode 3 of the Graveyard Shift Horror Podcast, where each week we watch a movie from the horror category and give you all the details we can cram into 1 hour. Details like the plot, some production notes, what we liked, what we didn't like, which is actually more fun to talk about sometimes, plus some bonus stuff. And yes, I said we because misery loves company. Please say hello to my co-host, Mike.
Hello.
Hey Mike, how are you?
Pretty darn good. We watched an actual movie this time. I'm pumped.
I'm actually a little bummed out, honestly. Adam West passed away recently. I'm sure you heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a fan of his, and it's always sad when a celebrity like passes away. I mean, it's not like he was a young man or anything. He was 88. He had a long life, but still.
Friggin' leukemia. I didn't even know he was sick. Like, there's these people like dying, and I don't even know they're sick. It's just like, by the way, they're fucking dead. What?
Yeah. I know, it was kind of a surprise. I think I did hear something about it, but, like, I didn't know it was that serious. But anyway. And on top of that, I'm not feeling the best myself. I know before we started recording last week, I mentioned that I wasn't feeling great. Like, I'm all congested and my throat's a bit scratchy. You can probably hear it, that there's a bit of my voice is a little off. But I think I'm going to have to get this checked out because it's been more than a week now and I'm still feeling the same. If I get any more nasalier or scratchier here, I'm going to be Mr. Bean.
Well, if anything happens, I'll have to just ask Brandon from the Taste Test if he's got time to watch horror movies.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd do a great job. But I'm glad to see that you're so ready to replace me if anything happens.
The show must go on. You've started a wonderful thing that will survive you.
Okay, I'll take it as a compliment.
It's every parent's goal.
Okay, so Mike, you mentioned that we actually got to watch a good movie this week, so why don't you tell the fine folks what we took care of?
Tonight's episode is What Has Fangs, Claws, and Drives on the Wrong Side of the Road? Because we watched our Werewolves in London, an American Werewolf in London.
Yes. Oh, after surviving last week's episode, we finally get to watch a good movie.
An actual monster.
Yes. And werewolves are a great monster movie. I've always loved werewolves. There's just something about having, no control, transforming into a beast and not being in control of your actions. It just makes for a great tragic character.
Yes, the beautiful conflict of man versus nature.
And for me, this is without a doubt the best werewolf movie. Hell, for me, I'd say it's probably one of the best horror movies. I would even go as far as saying that it is one of my favorite movies ever. So I'm obviously going to have a lot of good things to say about it. So be prepared for that.
Okay.
Okay, so with that out of the way, let's see what we got to say about this one. It was released in 1981 by Universal Studios, filmed in England, no surprise there. It had a $10 million budget, and it earned $62 million in box office returns. That's, of course, not including home release, so it actually did pretty good. As for the plot, 2 American men are attacked by a werewolf while backpacking in England. The survivor of the attack begins seeing apparitions that tell him he will become a werewolf on the next full moon and will begin killing innocent people if he doesn't take his own life. Not the easiest thing to deal with.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to tell yourself I'm probably processing a lot of survivor's guilt, so I probably shouldn't take this as an informed vision.
Yeah.
And I probably should just, process my grief, miss my friend, and move on.
Yeah. I get a feeling I would probably end up chalking this up to PTSD. But, yeah, that would be a tough one. It was directed by the legendary John Landis, who has quite an impressive resume under his belt. It has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 89% from critics and 85% audience score. So yeah, it's good.
It is. We got more to talk about, man. Don't come to a dead stop. Don't pull a Hollow Mountain on me.
No, we got a lot of good stuff to talk about this one. Ugh. Well, Mike, since we have lots of things to talk about, how about we dive in?
Sure thing. Fangs first.
All right. So, as for likes about this, and like I said, I've got a lot. The first thing for me was the story itself. It's simple, to the point, nothing complicated or hard to follow here, and it was a 97-minute runtime, which keeps the movie moving along at a pretty good pace. I always say that a sweet spot for horror movies when it comes to length is between 90 and 110 minutes. Anything beyond that, and the story starts to drag a little bit, so as for me, like when it comes to the runtime, the story, they nailed it.
So, what was your second like?
Okay, well, I'm pretty sure you're not going to be surprised going to mention this, but the effects in this movie. Oh man, the effects in this movie, the makeup and the gore, they were top-notch. I mean, this movie is 36 years old, and I think the special effects crew would be, like any special effects crew today, would be hard-pressed to do a better job.
It is the bar to meet.
Oh, absolutely. The look of the people that the wolf kills when he's talking to them later on in ghost form, especially Jack, his best friend, the way he gets
decomposes.
Yeah, the way he gets more decayed every time you see him, it's just fantastic.
It's like he's, it's like the corpse of Dorian Gray.
Yeah,
and it's like his body remains the same, but it's his soul that rots.
Yeah, and that'll make more sense if you haven't seen the movie. Just watch it. That will make a lot more sense to you. But yeah,
and if you don't know who Dorian Gray is, read a friggin' book, and I'm not going to tell you the name.
And of course, when it comes to the visual effects, the highlight has to be David's transformation scene. When for the first time we see him turn into the wolf.
It is the reason to watch this movie.
Yeah. First of all, it looks painful as hell. David's just writhing during this scene. Like, you can see his limbs stretch, twist, and pop and crack as he go. Man, it is just unbelievable. His face starts to distort and push out, hair sprouting all over the place, and it's done just seamlessly. Definitely, like, the best transformation scene that I've ever seen. This movie won a few awards for its effects. Right after
the first awards for special effects, I believe.
Yeah, and
they created the Academy. Like the Academy created the field of special effects and makeup just to give this guy an award.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I mean, if there wasn't an award for effects before this, then definitely they made the right decision by creating it, because this was unbelievable, and it was a lot of new stuff. Like, a lot of these things nobody has ever seen before. Like, they created this on the spot. Like, hey, we want to do this. How are we going to do it? Okay, let's brainstorm and figure out how we're going to create. Like, they created technology as they went.
Yeah. It's like, we just don't have the tools for this. Well, I guess we got to invent the friggin' tools then.
Yeah. So, yeah, without a doubt, like, this is just some of the best special effects ever. So, that's a couple for me. So, how about you? Is there something in particular you liked about this?
I had, like... Usually I try to go for, like, 3 likes, but I had, like, at least 2 instances of 3 likes in quick succession.
Lay it on me.
When the nurse is in the ward, and we get to see the... the first like was when I saw the, like, cheeky little bastard that slaps Nurse Goodbody on the ass.
Mm-hmm.
That was just, like... He's only 5, and, like, he knows what's cracking. And then the Indian kid who's reading Laurel and Hardy comics just got me. It's just like to see like Laurel and Hardy comics existing, but even though like they look like they're still like from the 40s even then.
Yep.
And then and then she's like trying to ask one of the orderlies, and he's just like, "I'm just an orderly. I only push things around." It's like, don't tell me my job weight, bitch.
Oh, that was cool. Yeah, I like that.
That was like there was like 3 rapid fire likes, so I'll count it as 1. It was like a series of likes, and then wrapped up in a dislike was a likable moment with the Muppet Show when the guy's watching the Muppet Show in his dream. Mm-hmm. And this is like the second appearance of Frank Oz, because first he was the American ambassador. And then he's like as Miss Piggy arguing with Kermit, who's watching a Punch and Judy performing in the upper floor. And she's like, "You call this violence art?" And so like the fact that like they're decrying that violence isn't art in a friggin' horror movie. just that was so tongue in cheek. It was like poking out the side.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
sure.
that is a big like for me. Are there any more likes for you?
Oh, yeah. Well, one of the things that I like was how they added to the werewolf mythos. I love that whoever that was killed by a werewolf is now like kind of a ghost stuck in limbo. And you got David constantly being visited by Jack, telling him that he has to kill himself so that he won't kill others. Of course, Dathan doesn't listen and ends up going on a killing spree, and then has to talk to those people as well. And they all appear, showing all the wounds that they sustained from the attack, and it's such gory goodness. It's these people. Some of these people are just like nothing but piles of blood. There's gashes all over the place. There's severed. You can see like severed veins and arteries sticking out her skin. There's organs hanging out. It's just brilliant.
And the personalities, like some of them are just like really pissed off with them. Yeah. It's just like, I had a friggin' life. You friggin' killed me, you prick.
Yeah.
I don't care if you find peace. I'm dead.
Yeah.
And then like the couple are so like not impressed either way. They're just like they're nonplussed.
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, well, at least we died together.
Yeah, and they're suggesting ways of like how he could kill himself, and they're like so excited about it.
It's like head in the oven, dive into traffic, sleeping pills. And then like the guys that got killed are like suggesting the more painful ways.
Yeah. Oh my god. And all this taking place in a porno theater, which
I mean like that's my final like just this porn movie with like this girl with massive knockers. And it turns out she was a model at the time who, like, I guess she took a cue from John Landis because she went into porn afterwards.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she started in a fake porn in this movie.
Yeah, because the porno you see on the screen in the theater is actually one that they filmed. Like, they just filmed like some scenes just to have it there, right? They didn't take like something from a real porn. They just created a fake one.
Yeah, I didn't, like, when I was in the middle of watching the movie, I took a break to try to research what this movie was, because I wanted to know who this big knocker girl was. And only afterwards, after about like a 30-minute search of coming up empty, I started watching the rest of it, and it's just like, oh shit, this is clearly made for the movie, because they have the scene where the guy, like, interrupts the couple, and then he's just like, get away from my girl. I'm not your girl. Oh, sorry. Continue.
Yes. I laughed so hard at that. Oh my god, that was so good.
Yep, and it was titled "See You Next Wednesday," which is a line that occurs in every John Landis movie. There's always a movie or a poster or a phrase or something that always ties it to "See You Next Wednesday."
Yes. Oh my god.
That's his little footmark. So, do you have any more likes, or can we get on to the less than likes?
No, I've still got some. Okay, so
boy, Sheldon, you're turning into a real like-anthrope.
Oh. Didn't like that. Okay, so one of the things I liked in this movie, I already told you in a text. Nurse Alex. Damn. She looked good. And she's not a bad actor either. Like, she's probably the best actor in the cast, actually.
Yeah, unfortunately, the least nude.
Yes. Yeah, you didn't see a whole lot.
You had to pause to see some nipples.
She was actually on a list of the top 100 sexiest women in sci-fi because she was in the sci-fi classic movie Logan's Run. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I haven't.
Oh, you should check it out. It's pretty good.
Well, maybe we should start a sci-fi podcast.
Hi, there you go. Yeah, sure. Why not? You've got time to edit 3 podcasts, right?
Yeah, sure. I already do edit 3 podcasts. I got time for 4.
Oh,
maybe
okay, 4.
maybe one of them will start paying money.
That's www.patreon.com/graveyard.
Are you sure it's Graveyard or not the Graveyard or the Graveyard Pod?
No, it's
We
Graveyard.
don't want. It's just Graveyard.
Yeah.
Okay, because we don't want some other podcast to be like, we don't want to confuse people that are just like, this really doesn't look like the show, but it's got Graveyard in it, so I might as well chip in $5.
Just follow the links on the show notes, just to make sure. So she was a nice addition to the movie for sure. I like.
What was her name? Lisa Auger or something?
Jenny Agutter or something. I'm probably saying the last name wrong. It's Agutter.
Agater.
Agatter. Sure, we'll go with that. I'm just going to call her Nurse Alex.
I'm gonna call her Nurse Goodbody. She's like champions like a lot of causes because I think like several people in her family, like a lot of her siblings died from cystic fibrosis or something. So she visits hospitals and causes awareness. So she's kind of like she's taking on like the best aspects of her character in real life.
Oh, that's good.
Like still trying to get people healed. So that's good.
Yeah, she's been in the Avengers movies too. Not a big role, obviously, but yeah.
Who did she play? Like one of the like shady board of directors or something?
Yeah, she was one of the heads of Shield. I think it was in Captain America's The Winter Soldier. She was the one that Black Widow had disguised herself as to get into the board meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. And as for, I could talk about this movie forever, but this is going to be something that a lot of people didn't pick up, but one of my likes, at the very first scene when the first, the 2 main characters go to the bar, the slaughtered lamb.
Yep.
The chess player, one of the guys playing chess, one of the bar patrons, is Rick Mile. He's a very well-known British comedian. I don't even think he had any lines in this movie. I don't remember him actually saying anything. I think the only time we saw him is when he's in the bar playing chess. But
was he the old man that's just like, yeah, I don't want to play?
No, I don't think so. He was a younger guy, had a little bit of a mullet, but he's a pretty well-known British comedian. I should say was, because unfortunately he died a couple of years ago. But me and 2 of my closest friends, Rick and Aiden, when we were teenagers, this was probably like late 90s, we used to watch this British comedy called Young Ones.
Okay.
It was old. Like, we watched it in the late 90s, and I think it was made in like the early 80s. I think it had 2 seasons, ran from 82 to 84. And he played one of the characters in this show, and we absolutely loved this thing. It was typical British comedy. It's like just outrageous. You didn't know what was going to happen. It had like just ridiculousness that would happen in it, like on par with Family Guy. Just craziness.
So it's just a bunch of like non sequiturs with a dismal plot thread.
Yeah, it was 4 college students that rented a house together, and just craziness that used to happen. Like, just to give you an example, there was one episode where one of them invented a potion. He said it was a potion that turned whoever drank it into an axe-wielding homicidal maniac. And he goes, basically, it's a cure. And they were like, a cure for what? Well, for not being an axe-wielding homicidal maniac. He's like, that sounds kind of dangerous. I don't think you should leave it lying about. Oh, no, I didn't. I put it in a Coke can and laid it in the fridge for safekeeping. So you can pretty much figure out what happened after that, of course. So.
Oh my god, it sounds like the British version of Kids in the Hall.
Yeah, a lot like that. Like just outrageousness, just totally crazy. It's all kinds of things were happening on it, and yeah, it was a great show. We absolutely loved it. Like, it's just we still talk about it. Anytime that the 3 of us are talking, it still comes up in conversation. So, and I didn't see this. I've seen this movie about 4 times, and it wasn't until this last time that I watched it, the most recent time, watching it just to make sure I didn't miss anything for the show. And I'm just watching it, and right at like 5 minutes into the movie, I'm like, holy crap, that's Rick Mile. I can't believe it. Did you ever see the movie Drop Dead Fred? But the girl, it's actually the girl from Gremlins who has an imaginary friend. Anyway, he played the title character, Drop Dead Fred, in that movie.
I guess I'd have to see it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we can start an indie pixie dream girl podcast.
Okay. So I'm only going to mention one more thing, and this is... I didn't know what category to put this in, actually, whether I liked it or not. But I'll ask you about it. They did away with the whole only silver can kill a werewolf thing. What did you think about that?
You know what? As a horror purist who like acknowledges that movies change rules all the time.
Yeah.
It's such a core aspect that, I felt like it was a bit of a betrayal. Mm-hmm. Like they mention the Lon Chaney movies, but yet they like intentionally go away from them. So it's like it's an intentional choice. So I don't know if I can like blame them.
Yeah.
But it's like I kind of felt it was lacking.
And didn't they even bring it up in one part? Like, didn't he say like, "Hey, what?" Didn't David say like, "Don't I need a silver bullet?" Or
yeah.
something?
And the guy's just like, what was the hero's name?
David.
David. Yeah, he's like, David, come on.
No, Jack. Sorry, Jack was his friend.
Yeah, Jack is the corpse.
Is the corpse, yeah.
Yeah, so he's Jack is just like, David, come on.
Yeah. I don't know how I felt about it, because I usually don't like when people screw around with the established lore when it comes to classic creatures.
Yeah.
But I didn't really mind this so much.
Yeah, it's kind of like... I'll forgive you once because you've done other things, but it's like it's still something to forgive rather than something that's like, oh, they added this to it.
Yeah, because when they killed the first werewolf, when David and Jack were attacked on the moor, and David got saved because some of the townspeople shot the werewolf. I was thinking like, were they prepared for a werewolf? Because it seemed like they already knew. Like they had in the bar, they had the pentagram on the wall. They had the sign. The sign on the bar, like with the bar name, like the slaughtered lamb, but yet it had like a severed wolf's head on it.
Just as a warning to like, okay, I know you can't read in your beast form, but I know you can see this, so don't get any fucking ideas.
Yeah. So, I wondered
so
like
you,
if they...
You don't know if they had silver or not.
Yeah, I don't know if they already knew they were werewolves, so they always packed silver anyway, but... So...
Yeah, there was... This is a good segue to things that make me instead of likes or dislikes, this is like the Twilight Zone in between.
Yeah.
The things that make me go, what?
But, okay, so besides that, I did want to mention one thing, because this was the absolutely best part of the movie for me. And we mentioned it about the scene in the porno theater. This is towards the end of the movie, when the wolf bursts out of the porno theater. That scene turned into absolute carnage. It was out of control. The wolf comes bursting out. First thing he does is bites a cop's head off. And then he just starts tearing through a crowd of people. Chaos just ensues. There's car crashes all over the place. People are getting annihilated.
He kills one person outside the theater, and the rest is just a domino effect of fucking fear and pandemonium.
Oh my god, it is... one of the best scenes I've ever witnessed.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. And it raises a question, too, because we talked about, we mentioned earlier about everyone that the wolf kills comes back in like a ghost form until that wolf dies, until that werewolf is killed. So, if the movie didn't end there, if it kept going, the guy that got his head bitten off, would he appear as a ghost, like, missing his head? Would it just be like a disembodied...
I think he'd be sitting in the porno theater with his head in his lap.
Yes. That's probably it, carrying his head under his arm or something.
Yeah. He'd just be like, oh, fuck it, David, why aren't you dead yet?
And what about the other people
Look at me. What did I even fucking do to you? I visited you in the hospital, and you bit me fucking head off. Not cool, mate. Not cool.
And what about the people like that got killed in like the car crashes and everything outside? They weren't technically killed
No.
by the wolf, but they were killed by like the carnage that, like you said, the domino effect that he started. So would that count? Would they be ghosts, or are they
No,
just
they killed each other, basically.
they're just collateral damage?
Yeah, they died natural deaths, so they get to... the guy that gets thrown through the window, which was played by John Landis, who
Yes.
probably would have gone to hell or heaven, whatever, depending on like if he touched people or if he was like a decent guy who was just walking down the street with his beard and just got plowed by a friggin' double-decker bus.
Yeah. Oh, it's just honestly, if you have no interest in watching this movie, is that's not your thing, just go on YouTube and search this scene.
Just watch the last 20 minutes.
Watch the last 20 minutes of the movie. It is unbelievable.
Because five of them, the first five of those last 20 minutes, tits.
Yep. If nothing else,
It's only for one girl, but still lots of tits.
So you know what? That's I like I said, I could go on forever, but like
Yeah. So
we're going to stick to a time limit. So
yeah, in the twilight zone of things that make me go is the dream sequences. We got the first one where the first part of the dream makes sense. He's running through the forest naked, like he's discovering his animal nature, prowling through the forest, biting a deer, like he's becoming one with the predator. And this makes sense. And then he sees himself in the bed with the nurse. And the nurse looks at David, who's in the bed, while David, who is the man, is watching with his big red coat on. And David in the bed turns into a vampire. Not a werewolf, but a vampire. I'm talking about like pale skin, fangs, and colored eyes. And then he like snaps open awake. And it's just like, wouldn't he like look canine? Like, why did he look vampish?
yeah, that was an odd scene. Like I totally agree with you. The first half of it, him running through the woods naked, he tackles. It was that scene where he tackles a deer and starts biting it.
I don't know if it was in the same thing, but it was along the same theme.
Yeah, well, that makes sense because it's kind of like his mind kind of having an internal struggle. It's manifesting like the whole
Discovering this power.
yeah, exactly. So that made sense. But yeah, go on.
And then that shock take. And then in the beautiful scene, in the beautiful dream sequence with the Muppets, then Nazis come in and butcher his family, who like apparently they just like the kids just sat on the floor waiting for Nazis to like stab the mother and then walk up to them and then shoot them. Then they scream. Rather than like as soon as someone kicks in the door, their first option isn't to scramble and hide, or at least like stand up and look startled. It's like they're still watching TV while mom gets stabbed, and only when he stands in front of the TV do they notice him and scream.
Yeah. And didn't they just blow the dad away like right off the bat, like as soon as he opened the door?
Yeah, this has nothing to do with like man versus nature. This is just like fucking Nazi demons coming in and then slitting his throat. It's like this isn't an allegory of like, he's slaughtering his family and he has the knife to his own throat, where like he has to choose between killing them or himself. Mm-hmm. Like that would have made some fucking sense. Yeah. This is just some SS douchebags came in, butchered my family, and slit my throat, and then I woke up. And then the nurse tells him it was a dream, pulls open the curtains, and gets stabbed by a Nazi. And then he wakes up again, and he's just like, fuck this, I'm tired of waking up.
Yeah. No, I had that on my list as well. And I know that there's going to be a lot of listeners that, well, okay, let me rephrase that because we need lots of listeners first before we offend lots of listeners. But there's going to be lots of fans of this movie that will disagree with us on that because I've heard some people say that they love that scene. But I got to agree with you. I understand like it's kind of like a psychological struggle, inner turmoil type of thing. But the scene of him running through the woods, like, kind of him in his own body, but like taking the place of a wolf, made more sense.
Acting like a wolf, looking like a man. That was like that was the perfect combination of duality. Yeah. That made sense.
Definitely. I could have done without the Nazi werewolves, for sure.
Yeah, like I didn't even know they were werewolves. They just looked like friggin' demons.
Yeah, because he didn't look like like the wolf that you actually see in the movie.
Yeah, they didn't look like him.
So yeah.
And what about you? Did you have any moments?
Not really. What? But besides that one, now, and don't get me wrong, those scenes, like, especially, like, I saw this movie the first time when I was really young. Like, I was probably only about 7 or 8 years old the first time I saw this movie. And don't get me wrong, the scene, like, I probably almost shit my pants when, he opens the door and there's a Nazi werewolf to just start shooting the place up.
Yeah, they're frightening. And it's like good effects. I mean, like Rick Baker, the guy that did the whole thing, was the guy that slit David's throat. So, I mean, like the effects were good and it was scary, but what was the fucking point?
Yeah. So that was probably my only what the fuck moment type of thing.
Yeah. So now we can go to the dislikes.
Yeah.
And, well, like there's one dislike which kind of like coats over this whole movie, is that like the real action starts only in the last 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the movie only begins as it's ending. Like, because, like, you see, like, the transformation scene, which takes place about an hour into the movie, which is good. No, wait, it was like 40 minutes in, I think.
Yeah.
But it was good. But then we get to see him, like, stalking people, but not really killing them. Like, we see, like, the wolf, like, jump out and then cut away. And then jump out and then cut away. It's like, we don't get to see him, like, shred anybody.
Yes.
It's like, there were gory movies before this. So, I mean, like, he must have... I mean, given, like, the quality of the special effects that they did have, they must have shot the actual kills and then cut them away, I guess, for censor reasons. But, when there should have been, like, a director's cut of this.
Yeah,
that just had, right. like everything that makes sense. Boom!
Yeah. No, you're right, because almost every kill scene in the movie is that you saw the aftermath. You saw, like, the carnage and the torn up bodies and everything afterwards, but you didn't actually see it happen.
Yeah, but we got robbed.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great point.
And another thing was that... there was no reversion scene. Like, we don't get to see him, like... It usually, like, the best part of, like, a werewolf transformation is, like, seeing them, like, either transform back or something. Yeah. But no, when the first werewolf gets shot, we see a wolf on top of him get shot, and then a naked man, bloody, falls down.
Yeah.
It's like, all that hair just, like, dissolved instantly, and he falls down. I mean, like, you saw how long it took him to change.
Yep.
You think that there would be, like, a wolf corpse that's, like, devolving or reverting.
Kind of like,
but no.
Kind of like Evil Ed in Fright Night?
Yeah. You think... I mean, like, given that they were such a qualified special effects team, we got robbed on the humanizing, especially with David's death. I mean, like, even if you could only do it once, it should have been for David, where he gets, like, mortally wounded, but as, like, then we get to see, like, the wolf still trying to attack her, while the human, like, holds back, like, he, like, charges at her and then, like, holds back as he's dying. Like, we could have seen, like, a great death scene of him struggling and then finally walking away from her, or finally, like, morphing into a human to, like, hold her and, like, say goodbye.
Yeah.
It's like, for a movie that's supposed to be so good, there's problems with this. I mean, you can't deny that this movie could have been better.
Yeah, I agree. No, that's a great point.
And like, to that end, literally the end, there's no denouement. There's no post-climax. It's just David drops dead, fucking credits. I'm like, really? No grieving? No sign of, like, her, like, months later, like, oh, well, at least the murders are done. Or, like, have a big belly or something. Or, like, that would have been, like, can you imagine how fucking good this movie would have been if it shows, like, a post scene, like, 8 months later. She's, like, standing over his grave. We see her with a big belly, and then we get to see all the victims standing behind her going, fuck, I thought he was the last one.
Yeah, like the blood, because he said the only way for them to go on to the afterlife, to get out of limbo, was for the werewolf's bloodline to be severed.
Yeah.
And
So imagine that. David dies thinking he's bringing people peace. And then we get to see all the victims still there because she's got one in the oven.
Yep.
And the bloodline continues. And even we like, can you imagine? Like, that would have been like a great comedy ending. Because even David's at the end, and we get to see him like with bullet holes in him. And Jack is like friggin' skeleton at this point. And he's just surrounded by more skeletons. And then David's just like, boy, I really blew it, man. I'm sorry. I thought it was the last. And like, just let that be the ending. It's like, oh fuck, there's another werewolf baby coming. Like, that would have been a great comedy ending. Yeah, and it would have resolved stuff. Because
this movie did have like kind of dark, but it did have like some elements of comedy. So yeah, that could have worked. That would have been probably a better ending. What I always thought about this movie is that the ending. How do you explain this to David's family back home? It goes from, hey, he was backpacking through England, gets attacked by an animal. He's in the hospital. He recovers and then leaves the hospital and shacks up with the nurse, and then went on a killing spree and got shot by police.
Yeah, suicide by cop. What the fuck?
Okay, well. One of the things I've got to say, as much as I love this movie, like I said, one of my favorites, but I got to say, for what I didn't like, the acting. Man, it's not great. I know I said that Nurse Alex, I'm just gonna call her Nurse Alex. She was the best actor in the cast. Her acting wasn't bad, but it certainly wasn't stellar. But some of the other cast members, they were pretty rough.
Yeah, the two American actors were good, but all the other British people, they were like the cops. Like that one cop who like stops and stammers, is like, he's not even great comedic relief. Yeah. Because it's like, it's not fast paced. There's no like a good comedy is just like a quick punchline. Comedy is timing. And apparently one of my neighbor's cars is going off. So, yeah, there was. Like, I would have liked to see the idiot cop get his head ripped off, but no, we get to see the qualified cop. So yeah, there's a lot of like either forced acting or it's just like, I get you're trying to set an atmosphere, but you're kind of not.
Yeah, a lot of the even with David and Jack, I found that some of the dialogue seemed kind of forced. But that's. And as for, I only have one more thing for what I didn't like, and this is going to fall into the nitpicking category. I'll say that right off the bat. But the wolf itself. It looks fantastic. They did an amazing job, so I feel bad for saying anything negative. But when it comes to werewolf movies, I've always kind of liked the wolf that's biped, upright, the whole half man, half wolf type of thing.
Yeah. A werewolf, not just he turns into a wolf.
Yeah, he was all wolf.
Yeah.
Like he was huge.
A werewolf is a hybrid creature, not like, no, he's just a big furry, no, he's just a wolf.
Yeah, it was just a big animal, and I mean, like I said, like it's just a personal thing. I still loved it. Like, they did a great job. I've got so many good things to say about it, but it's just a personal thing that when it comes to werewolves, I've always been more of a fan of the hybrid.
Yeah, so, the manimal.
Yeah. So, did you have anything else for things you didn't like?
I would have liked to see more of that Lindsay Drew girl, the girl with the huge cans. Her husband was the '90s gonzo porn director Bend Over.
Oh my god! Are you serious?
Yeah. That old guy that was like, all those porn movies in the '90s. That British guy. That's her husband. Ex-husband now.
I don't know what you're talking about. I know nothing about 90s porn.
No, you're only like you're only a post-Bush porn man. And I think we've just
President
lost our
Bush
listeners.
never watched porn. Come on.
Okay, so yeah, like with enough shitting on this movie, I did like the lore he added with the lycanthrope stuff. Like that they even used the word lycanthrope.
Yeah, they did.
To let you know, like, oh, we're not like going to water it down for dummies. To like, oh, only casual horror fans only know what werewolf means. Like, no, he's just like, no, you're a lycanthrope. That means you're a werewolf, and like, he's just like, you're gonna learn some shit.
Yeah, no, it was good. I also like that they actually for the British roles they actually used British actors.
Well, you're in Britain. Like, it would have been like really funny if he just like got a bunch of French people, like just brought them in over the channel, and he's just like, we could get British people, yeah, but they all fucking suck.
Well, like American movies does have
these people invented acting, but you couldn't tell from the people we found.
Oh, but you know how like a lot of American production studios they have a history sometimes of putting Americans that really can't do British accents into British roles.
Or like John Wayne as Genghis Khan.
Yeah, Kevin Costner as Robin Hood.
Or any white girl as a non-white girl.
Yes.
in those old movies.
So I know it seems like a bit of a a minor thing, but no, it was good that we had 2 American actors. Well, actually 3, counting Frank Oz. But I'm glad they actually got some Brits for this.
It's funny that you mention the British actors not being so great, because it turns out there were some worse actors. These guys were the cream of the crop that they got, or more like the cream of the crap. But I did manage to find in my research the audition tapes for many of the extras.
Oh God.
Yeah. Apparently they did try to keep it local. In California, you know how they like to film so many things in California and be like, oh no, it's Rome. And you get to see like a forest and shit. California is just like the Vancouver of America. It's like they'll film everything there and pretend it's something else. So they tried to keep it local, but it just, well, as you're about to find out, it just didn't work out. So here's this week's It Came from the Cutting Room Floor. Oh, hey, Peter.
Oh, hi, John. You ready to do this?
Well, I got reservations. I mean, like, it's called An American Werewolf in London. We really shouldn't be casting Americans as British extras. Like, we really should be taking the crew there.
John, we already talked about this. Do you know how much money it's going to cost to take everybody over to London? Let's just fill some roles here. We can go find a nice secluded spot to film the scenes, like the ones that take place on the moors, in the wooded areas. It'll be fine, and it'll save us so much money.
Yeah, well, it's always about that with you. All right. Okay, let's get on with this then. I'll do my best. So, who do we have first?
Okay, what's my motivation?
Okay, so picture this. You are warning 2 American backpackers. It's backpackers, right, John?
Well, yeah, they'd be on the roads if they were hitchhiking, so they're just kind of walking.
Okay, whatever, doesn't matter.
They already did do the hitchhiking. Like, that's how it begins. Like, they've done hitchhiking, now they're just going through. Okay. Anyways.
Okay, so you're going to warn these 2 American backpackers to stay off the moors because it's dangerous, okay? You got it? Your best British accent, please.
Okay, stay off the moors, mate.
Yeah,
Let's just put that as a week, maybe.
Right, okay. Next. Hi there. Okay, so pretend that you're a British police officer. You're about to tell your superior officer that the patient in the hospital says he was attacked by a large dog. Whenever you're ready.
Blimey, he says he was attacked by a big dog. What?
Jesus Christ.
Jeez. I mean, I don't want to say I told you so, Paul, Peter, but, I mean, what the fuck is your name again?
It's Peter, John.
Oh, okay, right. Sorry, I just got to get back to... I got to remind myself I'm still here. Okay, so who's next?
How about we try to audition for some of the female roles?
All right. Okay, good.
Okay. So let's see now. Auditioning for Nurse Alex.
Hi, I'm Sarah. Thanks for the opportunity.
Okay, Sarah, so whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hello.
Oh, dear God.
What scene was that again?
She was just auditioning for nurse, and that's all. That's as far as she got. She just starts off with,
Was there a rewrite I didn't know about?
maybe the role of the female werewolf victim might be something better for you. It is an interesting role. Would you like to give that a try? It's on the lines on page 2.
Oi! I got killed by a werewolf, I did.
Where the hell did we get these people?
Did you hand out audition flyers at one of those roller skating parks?
Hi. Is this like for the werewolf movie?
Yes. Do you you got you got your line part right?
Yeah, far out. All right.
Okay, dude. Let's all right. Let's hear it.
Okay. Oh no! Look out! It's a werewolf.
Could you do like a little more feeling?
Okay. Here it goes. Oh no! It's a werewolf.
Oh no! I'm still here.
Do you think maybe you could British it up a little? All right, cool. All right, here it goes. Oh no! It's a werewolf, governor.
Hi. This is the trials for the movie, right? Like, it's the horror movie.
Yes, it's a werewolf movie. We're looking for somebody to fill in for some British roles. Your motivation is you're on the street, downtown London. You've just witnessed some people get killed by a werewolf.
Okay. Oh no, he bloody. Okay, just a sec. Okay, okay, 3, 2, Oh, go blimey! He got capped. He did. Is that like a British term, like capped, like for killed or something? Peter, I'm at the end of my rope. Like, do we have how many more do we have?
Let's try one more. Come on, there's got to be somebody out here that's got a little bit of acting talent.
You think with all those friggin' waiters, one of them would have gone to a damn acting school or something?
Okay, we got this one guy that says he can do a British accent perfectly. So let's give him a try.
It would be a start. All right, let's go.
All right, thanks for coming. Look, here's the scenario. You are in a subway. You're on your way home, but you're being approached by a werewolf. Okay, just a nice reaction shot, and you can do a British accent. Oh yeah. I can do a British accent. Yeah. Of course.
All right. Okay. Well, looking forward to it. So, all right, begin.
Okay. Hey, werewolf, you called out a knife? This is a knife. What the fuck was that?
Was that like Australian or like South African or?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all the same, right? It's all in England.
Well, they're kind of a few dozen countries apart, and I'm pretty sure one is separated by a friggin' ocean. You know, I'm sorry. I don't want to say I told you so, Peter, but I think I friggin' told you so.
Yeah. Okay, John, you win. All right, we'll just go to London and we'll fill in the British roles once we're there.
Okay, well, at least tell me that you got the talent, that you got the good American talent for the American leads.
Oh, John, do I ever? Guess who I got for David?
Dennis Hopper.
No, even better, the Dr. Pepper guy.
Fuck no.
Yeah, and guess what? He is totally okay with the nudity you asked for.
Oh, sweet. Total, like, naked almost all the time?
Yeah, we had to kind of meet in the middle. He agreed to about 45%.
Well, I mean, you got the Pepper guy. I mean, like, that's half of it. I'm sure we can make it work. Okay, well, at least tell me that you've got somebody lined up for the female lead for the fake porno.
Oh, do I ever? You said fake porno?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Just excuse me for a moment. I gotta call my wife.
Yeah, that was cool. I mean, like, there was like one scene where like he wakes up in the wolf cage, and I swear I was expecting it to be another dream where the wolf is like looking at him with a smile on his face and smoking a cigarette, like just letting him know, like, man, I don't know where this human came from, but there was this wolf. Good night.
And he was actually in a wolf cage, right? Naked in a wolf cage.
Like, it could have gone worse. Like, he would like wake up while still tied to the wolf. And if you don't know what tying is, it's when animals, their genitals become so engorged that they can't disengage.
I'm not even going to ask how you know that, why you know that.
Oh, I know about that because a couple of years ago I was watching a wildlife documentary, and it showed a wolf trying to like get off the female, and like they were in pain. And they were explaining the process called tying or knotting, that there's a sac. It's kind of like in like the ball cock taint rather than like the ball anus taint. The wolves have this bulbous gland which acts like a valve which traps blood in so that they keep like the erection. But sometimes that doesn't disengage or deflate. So they're stuck with a permanent hard-on. And if she's stuck in permanent swollen mode, then they're trapped.
Wow.
And apparently it happens in humans on rare occasions, and there's a Latin name for it, penis captivus.
Well, I got to say, this episode's taken a weird turn. But hey, at least it's educational. So you get to learn about a horror movie, and you get a biology lesson as well.
Yep, so I thought it would have been hilarious if he woke up like while still in the wolf.
Then it's going to turn into a Tom Green movie.
You know, I hope that did you know that Max Landis, the son of John Landis, is announced last year that he would write and direct a remake of this film?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, we hopefully Max is listening. And he's just like, you know what, my dad, I love him, but he left a few things out. And I'll have to flip a coin on that tying scene, but I think I can definitely add some of the other stuff, like the pregnant scene at the end and stuff.
There you go. I'm sure he's listening. I mean, why wouldn't he? I mean, a world-class podcast like this, I don't know why anybody wouldn't be listening.
Hey, he's a genius, so he would recognize good talent.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
So we applaud you, Mr. Landis, and you know what? Tell your dad we think he did an okay job, but we think he can do better. we have hope for you.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's good. I hope he does a good job, and hopefully we'll finally get to see some close-up kills if this remake ever happens.
Yes, it would be good to see some actual kills besides my kill of the week.
So what do you got for us?
The only kill we actually see, which is Jack's death as he gets viciously filleted by this psychotic werewolf. It's the only it's the only scene where we get to see the wolf actually tear somebody apart, aside from the goth getting his head ripped off, which does come a close second.
Yeah. That was a good kill as well, but it happened really quickly.
And I got to give that one points for, he comes out of a porno theater and immediately gets some head.
Oh.
But I'm still going with Jack because not only is Jack the only kill we get to see, it is the kill that lingers. It triggers his Jiminy Cricket from beyond the grave by way of the Crypt Keeper.
No, it's a good one, and it was drawn out as well. Like, it actually took the wolf a while. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, slash and he's dead. It actually took the wolf like a few seconds to kill him. He's, bleeding all over the place, screaming out to David to help him. David is just
a fucking pussy who ran.
Oh, but I mean, I can't say anything. I probably would act the same way. He did get some courage. He ran for a few seconds, but then, his senses, his courage got him, and he did turn back.
Yeah, only after the damage was done. It's just like, okay, well, now he's critically injured. Okay, now I'm coming back.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as, I would have been on that fucker right off the bat. Like, as soon as he pinned, if I was going through the woods with you, I would have, as soon as he got on you, I would have, grabbed him, put him in, full Nelson. Just get him off. Well, get him off, not get him off. I mean, hell, if it distracts him, whatever, but...
Hey, maybe he wouldn't kill you. Maybe he's just saying, hey, all right.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't trying to kill you. Maybe he was trying to flip you over and trying to mount you. But
this is a weird episode.
Well, that's the hazards of bringing me along.
Well,
So-
I'm at least glad that know that whenever we hang out, I'm glad to know you've got my back at least. I can't say I'll do the same. I'm more of the we're being attacked by a werewolf. I'll trip you and try to run away type of guy.
I don't have to outrun the wolf. I only have to outrun you.
Exactly. That's my motto in life. You don't have to be the fastest. Just don't be the slowest.
Yeah, so I mean, like, it immediately made me pissed off with David. It's just like you don't run away. Like you the only time you should be running away is if it's like, oh, I noticed a sharp stick over there, or that's where I dropped my gun. Like, you should be running to something, not running away from your friend being butchered. Like, he had no excuse. The pub was too far away. He should have just immediately got on that wolf and started punching it in the side of the head. Or like, he has a camping bag. Don't you have a knife, a Swiss Army knife, a utility kit, something? He should have opened his bag and grabbed something like a Bowie knife. Even if it took the villagers to shoot him, he should have fought the wolf off better. That would have been great. If he attacked the wolf and then the wolf demonstrates its power by standing up on one leg or grabbing him while standing and then throwing him. That would have been a great way to demonstrate the wolf's strength, while still making Dave not look like a fucking coward.
There you go. More notes for the remake.
All right, Mr. Landis Jr., I hope you're listening.
Get on that.
And if you need an extra, I can do a pretty good proper British accent just right there. Can't speak for me old mate Sheldon, but, I can do a right good proper if you're looking for an extra.
Nope, I cannot. I cannot do a British accent, mate.
Nope, I can do a northern accent. That's how they talk up in the north, right?
I can do a Canadian accent.
That's a really, really, really West British accent.
It's like an American accent, only colder. I don't know.
Okay, so that concludes my kill of the week.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, it was a good kill. I like that one. So, just one last thing to talk about before we finish this off tonight. This is, I said right from the beginning, I love this movie, one of my favorites. It's actually my first one on the list of John Landis productions. You want to know what my second favorite is?
Ooh, do tell.
It would be Michael Jackson's Thriller.
The fitting, the spiritual sequel to this,
Yes.
where it actually just condensed the movie to the good part.
Now, whatever you think about Michael Jackson, I don't care. I know everyone has an opinion, but the video for Thriller, it's so good. And he was actually asked, Michael Jackson had actually seen An American Werewolf in London, and when he decided that he wanted to do a video for Thriller, he actually asked John Landis to direct it. And, I mean, what's not to love about this movie, this video, if you're a horror fan? It starts off with a great werewolf transformation. It just opened up with, you've got a zombie scene, and if you can get past the dancing, it's actually really well done zombies.
Oh, yeah.
And if that's not enough, you've got Vincent Price narrating the thing at the end.
Oh, in the middle.
Yeah. So,
Darkness falls upon the land.
yes.
The midnight hour is close at hand.
The first time I saw this, I didn't even know who Vincent Price was. And immediately I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but he's got the coolest voice ever. And the first time that I actually remember seeing Vincent Price in a movie, I'm trying to think of what it was. I'm thinking it might have been Edward Scissorhands. First when it came out, it could have been the first time that I actually saw Vincent Price. As soon as he spoke, it's like, it's the Thriller guy. It's him.
Now, my Vinny pedigree was already well legit by the time I first saw Thriller.
Oh, yeah? What was it?
I'd seen The Pit and the Pendulum.
Okay, yeah.
The Raven. There was House of Usher.
Yeah. That started off my Vincent Price fandom. I was in Thriller, and then when I realized after watching Edward Scissorhands when I was a kid, that was the guy, and then I realized how many movies he was in, and it's like, wow, this guy is just a horror veteran. Yeah, but I love that. It's like a routine for me. Every Halloween, I've got to at least once watch the Thriller video.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that friggin' transformation scene is just terrorizing, and then the zombies swarm him.
Scared the crap out of me the first time I saw it when I was a little kid, but...
Oh yeah, well, I've got nephews, so I can use that as an excuse to introduce it to them.
Yeah, well, that's all I got to say about that, and so that concludes our episode for this week, but we still are not done with some information just yet, because we want to hear from you. If you have any suggestions for us for a movie to watch, to feature on the episode, if you want to make some comments about the show, or if you just want to say hi, you can do that by emailing us at graveyardshiftpod@gmail.com. You can reach out to us on Twitter at GYS_horrorpod, and you can look us up on Facebook at The Graveyard Shift Pod. And if you're a fan of the show, you'd like to support us, there's a couple of ways you can do that. First of all, you can make a donation on Patreon by going to www.patreon.com/graveyard. And if a monetary donation is not possible, you can still help us out a ton by going on iTunes and giving us a review, subscribing, and give us a rating.
And just tell people who either don't know about podcasts or do, and they're just like, shit, I wish I knew a good horror podcast.
Yeah, word of mouth always works. Share us on social media. Just keep listening like you do right now. However you found this podcast, keep doing it.
Good outro. So, can you tell us what we'll be sinking our teeth into next week?
Yes, so speaking of suggestions, we actually had a suggestion from a listener for a movie. And next week, we're going to be watching the 1995 zombie film Cemetery Man.
Ooh, never heard of it. Looking forward to discovering it.
Oh, I'm just going to say it's interesting. I'll leave it at that for now. I'll let you make your own judgment after you see it.
Oh, boy. I'm getting Hollow Mountain vibes.
No. I promise you, nothing like that.
All right, I'll trust you.
Okay. So we'll talk more about that next week. Until then, I'm Sheldon.
And I'm Mike.
And we'll see you next time on The Graveyard Shift.